So, welcome back to the IE Productions channel on this another episode and the second episode of Sound Bits, talking to artists up and coming, people in this type of venture that seldom get the opportunity to be able to talk about, especially in the early years. So, on today's episode, I have another fellow service member. If you've seen any of the other podcasts, but also he is an up and coming rapper. He's very, very talented. I can attest that for myself. And he's got a lot of stuff that he can definitely bring to the table and if given the opportunity. But man, before I say anything else, go ahead, introduce yourself, Malik, and we'll get started on that, man.
Absolutely. My name is Malik. It's my legal first name. My rap name, I go by Tr1logy. It's Tr1logy. And I rap, sing, produce, write, mostly a lyricist inspired, by, I'm a student in hip hop, so I like, kind of the older boom bap and like lyricism that goes into hip hop. And I kind of just modernize that. Pop as well. I do pop, rock, a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, dude. And I literally made a playlist set up on the side to be able to go like in collaboration with these episodes. But even like the range of the songs that we were talking about when I asked you for a couple songs to try to see, like to try to get a better idea of your style for this interview, is like you have a really wide range. And it's really surprising, man. It's really surprising. And it's like you don't really see, well, not necessarily you don't see, there's very little times where you see a hard range of opposites being able to combine together like that. Because like I said, like you have both that singing ability and that lyricist ability, man. And like that's, like I said, that's seldom seen, seldom like opportunities to be heard. But we'll definitely get more into that once we start talking about the songs. But to start it off, man, where are you originally from? What was your background growing up? And then how did you end up so far getting into like music, man? Because everybody has their own journey.
Well, I'm originally from Houston, Texas, right now, stationed in Virginia. But before all of that, I grew up mostly, without a musical background. I always liked instruments, and stuff. And I always been interested in like different genres of music. I've never been able to tether myself to one genre. Like I've listened to, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Jay, Nas, Pac, Biggie, Eminem, Cole. I listened to a lot of people, growing up. Kanye. I was in jazz band in like sixth grade, and then growing up, I just like started touching instruments and getting used to things. I never got to formally learn how to play an instrument, but I taught myself everything that I got to touch. So I had a little bit of an understanding of music, like at a younger age, but not as much as I would have liked to. But I kind of just learned and ventured myself. But I wasn't actually allowed to do music or pursue music as like a career or hobby or anything. It was really discouraged when I was younger. Like I knew I was good at like writing songs and singing and playing guitar, things like that. But my dad, my father, he did not support it. So like, I don't know, I would just like go in my garage sometimes whenever he was gone and my brother was at football practice, and I would just be singing, while it was just me and my grandma at home. I'd go in the garage and I start writing songs and stuff. And one day he came to a talent show of mine, and I was practicing with one of my boys. And I told my dad what song I was gonna do, and he was like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" And he showed up, and I was playing, and then me and my boy, we like cued each other, and we switched the song. We were like, let's get on another vibe. And I started playing one of the songs that I wrote, and everything, and like everybody was vibing. The kids were vibing, the teachers, everything. And after my dad, like he told me, he was like, "Yo, like." He commented about himself. He was like, "That was the sorriest talent show. Like I could have got up there and outdone everyone." I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, it's not about you. It was like, so that really shot me down. I mean, he really shot me down, and like it discouraged like my want to create music. And then I just kind of had a dysfunctional thing going on between both my parents, custody battles and whatnot. So eventually, me and my brother, we ended up leaving my father, going to my mom's, and I had a little bit more freedom to explore. So I made like friends. I had a lot of friends now that I had moved cities and everything. And some of my friends, my homies, we go and we just throw on freestyle beats sometimes and we rap. And I just started exploring like different flows, becoming a student of hip hop, listening to all these different rappers and stuff. And like, I don't know that like I started listening to Lil Wayne a lot more as well. And so like that kind of lyrical handle kind of comes from listening to him, Eminem, you know, and Tr1logy, like all these incredibly talented people, Kendrick Lamar, just godly. So like I started taking from that and pulling a little bit more. I got in choir when I was in ninth grade, piano and theory as well. And so like I started exploring just music as a whole a lot more whenever I got in. So uh, after that, I hadn't like really made anything. I just kind of started having fun with it more. You know what I mean? Like I hadn't made anything. I owned no equipment. I never recorded a song, nothing like that. Joined the Navy, and believe it or not, this all started with poetry. Listening to all of them and doing the rhyme schemes and all of that stuff started making me writing like stanzas, like poetry. And so I just got used to that. I started doing that, but I was still freestyle on the weekends and stuff. And it was like I wasn't a good rapper back then. I was not. Like, I could write well. I could do poetry. I just could never just write something and actually like spit it how I wrote it type deal. But like one day I was on deployment whenever I graduated high school at this point. I went on to join the Navy, got stationed in Virginia, went on my first boat, 2020. And I was reading some poetry and whatnot, but I had like beats downloaded because I used to freestyle a lot. Like, and we didn't have no signal, so I couldn't access anything. I was just listening to Drake beats and, you know, freaking Joyner, Eminem type beats, like stuff like that. And then I was spitting something that I wrote poetry. I wrote a poetry piece and I started spitting it. And this Drake beat was in a background and I just like accidentally started spitting my poetry on beat, like as a rhythmic thing. And I was like, damn, I can flow. So I started rapping at that point. When I got back, like 9 months later, I had just my iPhone, a pair of iPhone headphones, and I had GarageBand. And so I just like started putting stuff together and decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to record a song, you know, whatever.
Tr1logy. Damn it, I hate when I'm having these moments whenever I'm zoning and I start to hone in and focus on nothing. It's literally crippling, mentally fiddling, fidgeting. I close my eyes and I stare at these memories, narcissist, cause I'm literally into me. I'm my own enemy, battling endlessly with these thoughts that the bitter me sends to me. So I get a thought with a message that's wrapped in a message that tells me that I should recapture my essence, rekindle the spirit, the artist within. I just don't understand what it began.
I had put out a song called Te and it was a song that was in half English and half Spanish, but like it was a good song. I just didn't have the quality about it because I didn't have like, you know, good equipment at the time. I just had my phone and, you know, headphones. And so eventually, whenever I moved out of my little barracks room that I had at the time and I got an apartment, my old lady, and I had got a MacBook and I had got like an interface, like the Focusrite, and this mic from my best friend and ex-producer. She used to make stuff for me, and then I would record her house. But she gifted me this interface and this mic, and I had a MacBook, so I started recording and getting used to like engineering because I had nobody to do it except for her. So I would just watch and learn from her and kind of add to that skill set as I went, you know, solo. After we kind of put distance between ourselves, me and her, because I don't know, things just didn't go well, like just conflicted, I guess, interest or what, or I was maybe just immature and like I was annoying. Maybe she didn't feel appreciated or whatnot. And I spent like the last year apologizing, like, hey, if I made you feel that way, you know, whatnot, then I want you to forgive me. I apologize. Like, I don't want you to feel like, you know, you're not appreciated. Everything you did for me, you know, taught me, like I've learned a huge amount for it. And I'm part of that is the reason I've become me. So like, you know, I had that conversation with her, like whenever I was on my most recent deployment, but we're gonna go back. So I started recording and this skill set that I gained from her, like I just started building on it. So the more stuff I recorded, I realized it just started sounding better. And eventually I had the type of money to get M3 MacBook, Mac Mini. And then I got Logic Pro, I bought that. And then I started reaching out to my brother. He gave me presets and stuff to use for my DAW and whatnot. And so my music just started sounding really good. And then in 2022, I put out my first record. Was the 2017 series about a story of a shooting that happened in 2017 in my youth, and that just I felt like it was good enough to stay, so I didn't take it down like I took down Tr1logy, and I left it, and I just kept putting out tracks, and now I'm in the process of making an album. So like,
no, dude, that's fucking awesome right there. So let's give it a quick pause on that, dude, and run it back a little bit, dude. How old are you right now, man? Because that'll give me a better way to ask this question, but like it makes no difference, just so I can kind of gauge what I can ask, I guess.
24.
You're 24. You're still young, dude. I'm freaking 32 now, but the fact that like I said, listening to your stuff, man, like it embodies so much from, like you said, the early 2000s boom bap era, man. And it's really rare to be able to like hear that from I guess your age group in this regard, right? So you're in your early 20s, man. This is like the new generation literally coming up, just like back then. But dude, it's crazy. It's crazy that you literally grew up in one of the meccas of the major early 2000s hip hop scene, dude. Freaking H-Town, Houston, dude. Freaking Chopped and Screwed, Bun B, UGK, freaking like this whole thing, dude. So it's like, and then like when we met at that motorcycle course, and I'm just like, this is like seldom do you hear, and like I do say that like that, seldom do you hear about a lot of rappers coming out of Houston or a lot of them actually coming out of Texas with a very specific type of flow like that, that's very open, very underground, and very high lyricist that doesn't stick into that conventional side of what do you call it, of the southern, the southern chopped and screwed style. But going into the whole thing about your dad not really being an influence, but like I said, growing up in Houston, he was listening to a lot of the stuff. Like, what were some of the songs or like other music besides like you said earlier, Earth, Wind and Fire and what do you call it, the Isley Brothers and stuff that your dad listened to?
He was listening to UGK, he was listening to Pac, he was listening to Outkast. Like, we were listening to 36 Chambers. We're listening to a lot of like different types of music growing up. So like, I don't know, I used to hear like involuntarily a lot of music that he was listening to from his era. My dad was born in 69, graduated in 86. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was listening to a lot of music that he kind of had me on, and that just influenced it. But the music that I was making, I guess he didn't like. But at the same time, I was like 14 years old, like, and I had just started doing music. So
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, and then honestly, it sounds kind of like around the same time frame was when that big shift within the big shift of popular culture into hip hop, and then the over mainstreaming of what was considered like gangster rap back in the day, and with like the new trap beats and stuff like that. So like I can understand that, dude, because I mean like you said, and he was born in the 60s. He graduated in the late 80s. Like, that was the early start of NWA. That was the early start of the East Coast, West Coast freaking rap beefs. So I can understand it. I can definitely understand it. Him being not a little bit too enthusiastic about wanting you in the music business like that, especially if it wasn't as appealing, us older guys like that. It's like, you have to give the young ones, you have to give everybody else a chance and opportunity, and be surprised, man. You'd definitely be surprised.
Yeah, because the first genre I started writing, weird enough, was like pop music, but he was not feeling it. And it was like, that hurts.
It happens, man. It happens. Well, then let's continue it a little bit forward then. So you're done, you graduated high school, you're already in the Navy, and you're on your first deployment, man. I've been there, dude, on the ship, listening to like everything that you've downloaded, music wise, beats and instrumentals and all that stuff, dude. How was that process for you connecting with other people that were on the ship that were, I guess, kind of along the same routes? Because it's a little difficult to try to find common ground with people, especially in rap. Like, forget about the song singing part and instrumentals. Like, people in rap and actual lyricists. Like, how was that for you on that first deployment?
On my first deployment, I actually met like no rappers. I a good friend of mine that we don't really speak anymore. Her name's Anansa. I met her. She's a singer, damn good singer. And we just kind of like after I started began to find my sound, we just started like messing around like on off time, like writing songs and stuff for talent shows on the ship and whatnot. But my second deployment, I met a rapper from North Carolina. His name's Rigo. He's originally from New York, like Jersey, my bad. He's originally from Jersey, but he has like this really like, man, like he gives me like a Nas kind of sound, like he's like he raps like, and that was the first like rapper outside of like someone from my hometown that can like spit, and that was just, I don't know, it was wonderful to meet somebody like that. So we came up with this thing, and we talked to one of the OSs. I'm an OS, I talked to someone else in the OS department, and he was like, bro, like this is crazy. Like we meeting like artists. There was a group of us, like maybe 10 of us that did rap, but we were all different styles. The closest one I could say like I related to as a rapper was Rigo, just because his raw lyricism and crazy creativity. He could pull water out of thin air. Like his ability to just flow is crazy. And so like I introduced Caleb to, everybody. And then he was like, why don't we start making a cypher night? We make a cypher night. So he created a club, and we get together every Wednesday night in the anchor room on the LHD. And then we get the cameras on, and we'll get like some music going. We'll get the producers together. We'll get the artists, the singers, the rappers, and we'll play some wild and out games. We'll freestyle, do some ciphers and whatnot. And we did that for like half of the whole deployment. And that got us through. Like it was some rough times. I'm talking like, all of us got our first combat action ribbon that deployment type thing. And like that music like got us through there. Like that was the highlight of the week every week.
Dang, man. No, dude, that's freaking awesome. It's like, and like you guys literally, it sounds like you guys found like your own little conclave with everybody that was on the ship doing that stuff, dude. And like I said, like for me, like I said, it might have just been kind of like the crowd or the time, because mine was in 2014, 2015. So big difference, man. Big difference from then. But no, dude, that sounds freaking awesome. So with that then, so like, you guys got your musical start on the ship. You literally started going into just writing and self-producing with your friends, dude. How was that process after you started taking it seriously, a little bit more seriously? Like you said, you got your headphones on, you're literally recording it on your phone, and then you upload that first one. It's like how was that process for you making that, I guess, that generally that connection between like, hey, this can be just a little bit more than a hobby. It can be something viable.
Oh, okay. That moment was like realizing, fighting through the trauma of like, you're not good enough, and realizing, oh, shit, I'm talented. like it was that, because like people started telling me like, bro, you rap, like you like you don't rap, you rap. Like, oh yeah, I guess so. I guess I do. That kind of really helped me pull me out of a, negative mindset and downplaying myself, and I started like making more stuff, and I got more sure of myself. But I guess the moment what it was like making that connection of deciding to do this as like a career type deal was when I realized I could put my story into music, and at least 1 out of a billion people would relate. And at least I know I felt alone before, and there was words that couldn't do the justice. And I feel like I would drift away and listen to music as an escape, because music understood me before anybody else did. So if I can provide that same experience for somebody else, through just music, whether it's telling my story or someone else's story and putting it into words that can really, conceptually legitimize what somebody feels, you know what I mean? Like that's what I want to do. And like after that started feeling good, I was like, I love this shit, and like I'm good enough at it. Maybe I'll try to make a career out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
no, it's true, dude. It's true, and it's funny. And I don't know if you've actually heard of him, Vinny Paz from Jedi Mind Tricks. He's a Philly rapper. This was back in the day when he was about to bring out God of the Serengeti. He put out a quick promo, literally calling it the power of music, man. And everything that you just said, he literally basically brings that out. And that is quite literally the power of music. You don't know exactly, dude. Like, you don't know who you're going to connect with. You don't know who it's going to touch, but somebody's going to listen to it, and it's going to be that little grasp, that straw that's just like, you know what? It's not the short straw. But if it was, that's my opportunity. That's the one, that chance that I'm taking on, dude. But no, like, I get you, dude. I get you. So you're making it a little bit more of a career. Here's my question to you, dude. And it just kind of leads back to a little bit more towards my personal experience. But same thing, just kind of asking, because as an up and coming rapper and basically creating and establishing yourself, have you gotten any opportunities or have been reached out by either A&Rs, companies, publishers to be able to actually get some distributions or even sign a record?
I've had like people reach out to me on Instagram, but like sometimes it doesn't feel like legit, so I don't really pursue it. Also, like, I don't hold a lot of importance on it. It's just kind of validation thing for me, because I know I want to be an independent artist. I want to do everything myself on my own royalties and kind of take music whichever avenue I want to. But I've had like I can't off the top of my head, but I've had A&Rs reach out to me, as well as what's it called? Royal Empire Marketing, as well as the one that's like reached out to me as of recent, but like I just kind of like left it, off to, chance. But yeah, I've had a few. Of my brother, I know I'm not the only one. My brother, he was reached out to by Bellmark Records, I believe it was. And I looked at that. I was like, okay, my brother's really good at music, but competitively between the two of us, he's really fucking good, but I'm not gonna let him outdo me. I'm better. And so like, I'm like, if he could do it, I could do it. Somebody's gonna reach out. But I think I'm just gonna take that, independent route if I can. And if not, if somebody offers me 4.4 million or something like that, I'm not gonna turn it down. But like, at the end of the day, I want to stay independent if I can.
Oh yeah, dude. And there's nothing wrong with that, dude. Like, and you for sure, I'm guaranteed you know this. Talib Kweli, dude. One of the few independently self-produced everything rappers out there from the early 2000s, and like, look at him, he made it work. Now he's got the what do you call it, the Block Party or the People's Podcast. He's got multiple artists underneath him in his own personal label, and like, just the freedom of distribution. I guess just the freedom of distribution in itself is what's made him a little bit more popular. So like I said, so I can definitely see you being a little bit more like that, and can definitely be like, you know what, that's the dude. That's, if he can do it, man, like, other artists can do it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
John Bellion is another person I look up to, just because he is probably the most talented artist I can think of off the top of my head. Like, next to Eminem. You know what I mean? Like, dude is just mad talented, does everything, jack of all trades. He's like, he's insane with it. But I listened to him speak on a podcast recently on his experience, paying himself out of his deal. You know what I mean? Because whenever he was with his record label, he was essentially just getting screwed, in the short terms, but like, once he was independent and started doing his own thing, he has that freedom of production, creation, distribution, like all that stuff. And it seems like he just loves he loves his life, what he does now. Like, music is his passion. And I resonate with that. I'm like, music is, nobody can take that away from me. Like, I won't stop doing it, whether I'm doing it out of a damn closet in an apartment, or I'm doing it on a stage in front of billions of people. Either way, I love this shit, and I'm gonna give my life to it. You know what I mean? Like, music is like universally, like, it's a language. It doesn't matter if you're from goddamn Abu Dhabi or you're from somewhere in South Carolina. Like music ties people together. Like, that's the thing that's like been that way for generations, and it's gonna continue to be, because somebody always has something to say that you might need to hear one day. Music saved my life when I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? So I resonate with John B, but like, he talked a little bit about like that lack of freedom whenever he was under his record label, prior to his, musical freedom.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, and he was popular in the R&B scene, especially in like the big hit eras of the A&Rs, the producers, and the record labels, and the payola. If you remember the whole payola scandal. So it's like, damn, dude, like, for him to have actually been what do you call it, establishing himself and then be able to buy himself out of his record deal with all that going on, man. It's like, that's legit. That's how it is, man. So I get you. I believe you, dude. But no, I asked that because like, even when I first got into the Navy, man, like when I was first starting off and had taken music a little bit more serious and everything, I was actually reached out by two A&Rs, and I put myself out there, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna keep serving the Navy, and it's like, but now looking at now, like literally closer to 10 years later, I'm like, these are the new opportunities. This is the new opportunities. You don't have to rely on any brand new type of A&Rs. You don't have to rely on anybody to be able to give you that marketing, that distribution. Is like, you can handle that yourself, and then that's what I've been seeing with you, which is the same reason why I reached out about the podcast, both for yourself and for the previous artist, was that, hey, within the community, you have to help each other. And this is what this is, man, for you to be able to be able to get that spread out. But closing that portion out, you're making music. Let's actually talk about the music itself. Let's talk about Tr1logy, the rapper. So where did the name Tr1logy come from?
Well, initially because I rap, dance, and sing, but that's expanded a world now. So Tr1logy, a trilogy of essentially, it's just to speak to more than just duality. I do like three things majorly, and that's rap, dance, and sing. Like, I'm a dancer. I was a dancer before I even, imagined the music,
Man, so literally just from the get-go, a fucking artist, dude. Like, that's artistic. You're the new embodiment of what it is to be a Renaissance man in this day and age. Like, legitimately, that's like there's no other way to put it like that, dude. You're a freaking Renaissance man.
Well, I appreciate it.
No, dude, that's legit though. Like, that's legit though, dude. So Tr1logy, you've got those three things under your belt. You're extensively, I don't know, man, versed. You're extensively versed in all of that. But with the whole music portion, what's your process? Like I said, I've heard a lot of the songs. I've listened through your very limited repertoire, but it is a good repertoire. Where can you tell me off on the first song in itself? So Statistics. So like, that's your newest release. That's the one that just recently came out a couple months ago, and it's just like, it has a lot of those new age takes, the new modern hip hop, actually the new modern hip hop style, where it's a little bit kind of what do you call it, back and forthy, but it's upbeat. Yeah, there you go. And it's good though. But like statistically, like how it what do you call it, how it blends into is one of the lines that caught me right there was why they always gotta be bringing up the statistics. And I want you to explain that portion. Tell me that.
Look, I learned a lesson by telling my moves, cause niggas be thinking I'm tripping. I shut the fuck up when I walk in a room, cause they form a plot when I sentence. I mention my dreams and what I wanna do, and they wanna bring up statistics. And how I'm not cut out for rhyming and blues, but honestly, fuck is the difference. I done seen niggas that shot it and bricked it. See niggas that stood in my shoes, and now niggas standing on riches. So how you gonna tell me about what I can't do when you fell in minding your business? You might have peaked in high school, but homie, the truth is I am still sleeping. Open my eyes and then hit the snooze. I'm living, but I am still dreaming, nigga. What is you thinking? Down in my drive like I swear.
All right, we're gonna take a ride. All right. All right. So, as you know, I'm in the Navy, and I recently just transferred. But before I transferred, actually after I transferred, I revisited my last command, and I spoke to a group of chiefs that, I hold dear to my heart. They helped me grow a lot as a person, and I appreciate them for it, truly. So I went back and I was just chatting it up with them, and they, like, one of them asked me, this is one who's kind of had my back regardless of whatever has happened in my career. Like, he's had my back. So, and I met him more recent than the others, but he asked me what I was planning on doing, with my career and what I want to do whenever I get out, because I told him, I'm not planning on doing this as a long-term career type deal. I love the Navy, but this isn't what I'm passionate about. What I'm passionate about is music. I want to find a way to replace my income that I get right now from the Navy with my music, the thing that I do not tire to do, the thing I am infinite for. I want to do that. He started talking to me, and I know it was from a place of love. I know. And he started telling me about the statistics of, the likelihood of success in that field of work, music, being a musician. And how, how long it would typically take someone to break success as an average artist, you know, and I was like, you know, 10, 15 years, you know, such and such, you know, it just assuming they don't have skin like time in the game already. They didn't start doing this when it was like 10, 14, right? So he was saying basically my chances of success in this were slim to none, and I need to be realistic. And statistics is like freaking 1 out of 1,000. You know, is essentially what he was saying. And I know it was out of a place of love, but I had to stop him. And I was like, I get what you're saying, but what you don't know is like I've gone through a lot to become the person I am and get to the point of belief in myself that I am. And me, I like to think of myself as a realist, but at the same time, I'm a hopeful person, and my drive outdoes any doubt you can dish out. And I'm just gonna tell you that. And like this is out of love and respect, because I know you're looking out for me. But I can't take that. And I like got home the same day, and I was just thinking, and I was like, you know, the doubt got in my head. I started writing a project called Doubt as well. But like the doubt got in my head, and I was just it was really messing with me. And I sat on this for a few days, didn't touch any music at all. And then one day I just snapped. I was like, yo, who the hell are you, bro? Like, who you telling me like what I can't do? Like, what have you done? You this is easy. I feel like if you got the right, you know, tools in your bag, like you graduated high school, you can pass an ASVAB, you can join the Navy. And if you show up to work every day and you do what you got to do to the best of your ability, you're going to thrive. It doesn't matter who you are. Anybody can do this. I'm trying to do something that separates me from others that I love. You know what I'm saying? You can't speak to that. You never did that. You're doing exactly what I'm doing, and you telling me what I can't do. I just got angry. It boiled in me. And I'm like, bitch, like that's what I said, like out loud, like that's what I said. And so that's why that line is in the song whenever I say that randomly at the end, because it's like, you might have peaked in high school, but only the truth is I'm still sleeping. Open my eyes and then hit the snooze. I'm still dreaming. I'm living, but I'm still dreaming. Like that's where that line comes from. Like it's like, I just got so angry and I wrote statistics and I released it within like 2 days.
Dude, no, and that's the what do you call it? So that's the biggest thing where I'm just like, this is why I love doing what I do, man, in the exact same regard. Like I said, like I haven't been in music in like 10 years, dude. But just getting back to these interviews, just doing like the initial podcast that I did, just reaching out to the community and then listening to your stuff and then listening to the other artists, it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, I'm doing what a lot of people are doing, but I'm also doing a lot more than just this. So no, you're right, dude. So that one now that actually speaks to me a little bit more, especially with that very last part of the verse in the chorus, man. It's like, why do they always got to bring up the statistics? It's like, you know the statistics, but do you see the process? This is the process.
Do you see the soul? Do you see the faith in this, bro? Like
exactly.
So much you missing. You looking at the numbers, bro. But what separates a successful person from somebody who's not is the other person. So it's discipline. It's discipline and it's belief. The one who's going to succeed is the one who's going to see the odds completely against them, and they're going to keep up that strong belief no matter what. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's them doing everything they don't want to do to get to the place they want to go. You know what I'm saying? That's what separates a successful person from the person who's not. So exactly. The numbers don't matter. I'm an anomaly. Why are you telling me what I can't do? Like
exactly, dude. Exactly. No, yeah. And it's funny enough, dude, statistics, right? Statistics is literally the study of numbers and probability. And the funny thing is that, and I even heard this on my first deployment too, dude. There's this JO. He's sitting there like, yeah, you know that 90% of statistics are always made up on the spot, right? And I'm like, what? And I fix that up real quick because I say, you know what? 110 there's 110% like a bit, what do you call it, probability that 100% of the statistics are made up on the spot. So you know this shit's all fake. It's numbers for numbers' sake. That's all it is. No, dude, I like it, dude. That's a quick, like, that's a really deep introspection into like what it is. So like the substance of it, what's the understandability of like, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you don't understand the whole concept. You're looking at you're
tip of the iceberg.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. It's the macro and the micro. You're focusing on the micro, but this is macro, dude. This is fucking macro. I love it, dude. I do love it. So let's change it up to the next one. So Just Act Normal. This one I really didn't have much written down for it because it's I want you to explain this one because it seems like it's a very self-doubting type of song, but it speaks to the self-esteem issues that a lot of people tend to have. And it's not specifically related to the music industry, but just in general as a person, as a human being, and just as a breathing, living creature. So what do you call it? So you just act normal. And I've heard it more than enough times, man. So where's just act normal?
Yo. Why I feel like everybody's staring at me. Told me that I'm tripping about what I don't really see. Always pitching in about my thoughts and all my dreams, but the truth is simple, everybody wildin' like me. My friends, they tell me that it ain't healthy to compare myself to everybody else around me. And I get it, I need something to my conscience drive me till I get to tripping. And I get to thinking just like normal, and it'll go away. Yeah, the rain gon' come, but it'll blow away. Just like normal, and there's a better way. Everybody equal, it don't matter.
The name in itself is just like a joke. You can't act normal, right? Like what is normal? What is that? Like, right? So like that's kind of like my mind speaking to me like in its most lowest moments of self-esteem. And this song was actually inspired off a dream of mine. I had a dream one day that I was in a shopping center, right? And I'm gathering like groceries and stuff, and like nothing is labeled, everything is like non-distinctive, and I'm just putting things in a fucking shopping cart. And I'm walking down this aisle, and this guy in a pink bunny suit like is standing at the end of the aisle, and he starts walking towards me. I'm like, okay, that's fucking weird. I'm gonna go to the next aisle and just do my thing. And then two more come out of that aisle, and I'm like, all right, this is weird. I leave the store. As I'm walking out, a bunch of these pink bunny suit guys start coming out of like neighborhoods, and I'm like, bro, I feel like everybody's staring at me, and like the world is out to get me right now. Like, I can't be here. So I drive home, and I splash water on my face, and I look in the mirror, and like I'm growing pink fur. I'm growing pink fur in the mirror, and like it made no sense initially, but like I broke it down. I wrote it down. I wish I brought my notebook from upstairs, but I wrote it down, and in this dream, I broke it down to say, like, maybe I just care too much about what people think about me when we're really all on the same equal playing field. These people were babies at one point. So was I. They put underwear on. So do I. We all have lives that we're living on the same spectrum. Nobody's pain or happiness is more or less than the other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all relative when you really look at it. It's relative to the person. So how you see the world is like relative to you. I got 1,000 different versions of you. You know, there's 1,000 different versions of you. Like your mom sees you different, your friends see you different. They have a different version of you. I see you as, you know, a person who does this and does that, and they're this type of person. Like who you are to you means nothing to me, and I got to re-engineer that concept for myself. Like I broke the dream down to kind of like the first line in the song. Why I feel like everybody's staring at me, tell me that I'm tripping about what I don't really see. Always pitching in about my thoughts and all my dreams, but the truth is simple, everybody wildin' like me. And that's just saying like we're all really the same. While I'm tripping, I can't act normal. I'm just gonna do me. And like if somebody gets upset, I can't please everybody, but I can equally piss everybody off. And so I just like started writing the song, and like it just became that.
No, dude, that's fucking funny. That's funny as shit. It's like the fact that literal dream goes into the whole aspect of like, even in an abnormal world, if you're normal, you're the most abnormal. You're not normal, dude. That was literally weird. The fucking thing. You're fucking weird, bro. Why? Where's your fur at, dude? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's funny, dude. That's fucking hilarious right there. That's legitimately like one of those things that's just like, this dude did not come up with the song over a dream. It's like, no, I saw it. It was there, man. I was asleep, dude. I remember being asleep, and no, dude, no. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why I didn't write anything specific to that one, because like there's a self-esteem issue part into that, but it really it plays on the heartstring of just like, you have to fit into society. You have to fit into what's considered the substantial of the day to day. And it turns out that maybe being normal is being the most abnormal person, but it's not normal to you.
Yeah, it's all relative. Like we were saying, like I was like, if you get rid of all of the structure that creates like a normal, acceptable society, and you just see yourself as a part to play in it, and you playing your part is just you doing whatever the first thing that comes into your brain, like peeing on a fucking tree. Like, you know, usually you're playing your part at the end of the day. Like, just do you, be you. You're gonna say something one day to somebody that means nothing to you, and it's gonna mean everything to somebody else. And like, you just played your part accidentally. You don't know where they're gonna go. Maybe they'll get a yacht in 10 years. Who knows? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Very, very fucking true. That's right there. That's like, yeah, there's no other way to put it like that, dude. I'm gonna leave it at that, because that was it. That was literally the explanation I wanted, and that was the extra clarification that I needed for that portion. So now moving into the next one. This one hit me a little bit because I saw a little bit of what you were going with it with Feel Sober. So Feel Sober in itself is really hits hard, because we've all lost somebody. We've all had situations, and obviously with both within family and friends. And I did the same thing. I lost one of my best friends when he was 15. When he was 15, we were going in freshman, and I wrote a song about it too, dude. I wrote a song about it too. So when I started hearing this and how you were talking about it, it's emotional, man. It's an emotional and taxing thing to feel it. But how I wrote this down is like, it's an introspection of the people lost, but how does it really feel to feel those emotions sober? Because we always try to find a way to be able to not validate what we're feeling, right? And there's always just a justification for us trying to just ignore the whole situation. So and then from listening to it, I know it leads back into a song that we're going to talk a little bit after this, both 2017 part 1 and part 2, right? But let's talk about Feel Sober. That whole process, at what point did you break? I guess I'm going to say it like this. At what point did you break and had to write this down?
Tr1logy. Yeah, look, I ain't never died, but I ain't never lied when it comes to knowing it feels like whenever a homie dies. Seeing all this pointless death through a set of lonely eyes. How many of these I gotta drink before this fucking song hit right? Blasted with memories of the click when bro is still alive. Laughing hard as a bitch until I think too much and start to cry. You wouldn't want me to mourn your death, but celebrate your life. Or how the fuck we supposed to light this smoke if you can't bring the light? So I'ma feel just how I feel. Fuck a drink and fuck a pill. I feel it sober, that's the only way I know if it's real.
It started as kind of a follow-on to 2017. Like I told you, in 2017, I lost my stepdad. I call him my dad, you know, because he taught me a lot. He raised me. He, basically taught me how to get out of the norms of caring what other people think. Just do you. Treat people well. Don't be an asshole. Like he showed me how to be a good person, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, and so I lost him to that shooting that we were all involved in 2017, him, my brother, and I. And that changed a lot in my life. I went through so many things because of that whenever I was just like, adolescence, when I was in high school. Like, I went through a lot. We don't even have enough time to talk about it. But, like, it started there. Family turned against us, thought we were, enemies, and people who set the whole thing up. Like, and more to follow, you know what I mean? And then a year later, I lost my best friend, Cameron Athey, to suicide, still, debating on whether it was a murder or suicide. Everybody's still kind of like on the same page about that. Like, yo, that's not Cameron. Like, and he had company this day. Like, and it was the whole thing about it. But along with a childhood friend of mine who was a cheerleader on the football team I played for, she passed away in a really bad wreck. And that just, at a certain point, when you go through so much shit, you stop crying. You stop being able to cry. You know what I mean? I lost my grandfather a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And I wasn't even able to cry. I was deeply sad about it because I was away when it happened. I was across the states when it happened, and I couldn't even say bye, and it really messed me up. But after my deployment, one of my boys that I was on my first ship with, seen him like every day. He pulled up to a cookout like at 2 a.m. There was a shooting, and he ended up passing away. And like that was a breaking point for me. I was going through a lot at that time. I had an NJP going on. It was just a lot. And then I was like, bro, it's like one thing after another. Like, and there's more, but it was just like I had to write it down. I needed an outlet because it was like, okay, me drinking like this ain't gonna fix the problem. I'm just gonna continue to feel like trash. You know what I mean? Which is why the song is titled "Feel It Sober." You know, in the song, how it starts, you know, I say, I ain't never died, but I ain't never lied when it comes to know what it feels like whenever a homie does. Seeing all this pointless death through a set of lonely eyes. How many of these I gotta drink before this fucking song hit right? Blasted with memories of the click when bro was still alive, laughing hard as a bitch until I think too much and start to cry. You wouldn't want me to mourn your death, but celebrate your life. Well, how the fuck we supposed to light this smoke if you can't bring the light? So I'ma feel just how I feel. Fuck a drink and fuck a pill. I feel it sober. That's the only way I know if it's real. And then it goes and goes. The rhyme scheme keeps going, but like that kind of tells like the main bulk of the emotions that goes into the song. It's like I was resulting to substance abuse, like, you know, drinking alcohol, you know, to cope with that shit that I had never addressed till for years. And I finally broke. And I feel like if I feel like this, there were people going through all of this with me that we haven't even talked about it. We act like these things never happened. Maybe, you know, they feel the same way. And if I can release this song, at least I know I'd be doing them the justice that words can't do sometimes, you know? So I started writing that song, get that shit off my chest and make a project out of it, you know? I wasn't even going to release it, but I was like seeing a few of my friends, you know, result into the same habits that I was. And it was like, you know, I'm going to release this song. You know?
Yeah, dude, no, like, and that was the one part that caught me with the, what do you call it? With the lyrics in the chorus, like you said, like, how are you gonna light, what do you call it? How are you gonna enjoy that puff without a light, dude? It's like, it really, like, it's a very specific way of putting it, but it's like, you can't really share a what do you call it? You can't share a coffee. You can't share a moment. You can't share a smile or a laughter with anybody of the people. That's just a very minute way of putting it. I'm just putting it like that, of minute playing it, but it's like it's one of those things like where after they're gone, those same things that you looked up to, look forward to, those things that were just the day-to-day things or just the general interactions, like they don't exist anymore. Like how can they exist when the people are, yeah, exactly. So without, you know, them,
it's less applicable to our lives now. That other major part that was a part of making this system work ain't a part of us anymore. So like, why even do it? Like, what's the fucking point? You know, is essentially the message. Yeah. You know, but like, I just want to let you know, if you can hear this song up in heaven, like, I'm writing this for you, and all I can do is be candid. This is how I feel. I ain't never died, and it comes back to the chorus again. Like,
yeah, dude. No, yeah, that one grabbed me. Like I said, that one definitely grabbed me a lot, just because of the way that the emotions really reverberated. That's the biggest thing. It's like the emotions reverberated because it started thinking back to the same thing. It's just like, man, this really touches on that specific point that we don't really we like to talk about the situations, but only in the moment of inebriation, just that whole chemical imbalance, right? But at what point have any of us actually sat down to actually talk about it in the actual essence of the moment? No BS, no alterations, no nothing. Just like, hey man, how do you feel right now? It's like, how do you feel right now? And and then what is it that you're really feeling? Like, let it out. You have to. And that's a good outlet. This one was actually a good outlet for all of that, man. So yeah. And like I said, I like that one very specifically. One, because like I said, it reminds me of a lot of that. And it touches on the base of like, hey, we all lose somebody. And at a certain point, you have to come to that realization. Whether it's not now, it's going to come, but you're going to have to feel it's over one way or another.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. So
I like that.
Yeah. So pushing it a little bit more forward. So to whom may this concern? That one, man. That one I like because one, I love the beat, dude. I fucking love the beat, dude. It's there. It hits on so many levels. But here's where it gets me. That shit's for the clowns, and I'm not performing. And then everything you wrote about in there, talking about, and then even referencing Eminem in there, man. That's the biggest thing, dude. I'm just like, so specifically, or just generalizing? This was not aimed at any one person, correct?
No, it was not.
Yeah,
It was not.
so elaborate a little bit more on that, because open letters are they're meant to be heard, and if it touches a note, that means that you're probably doing something wrong to be offended by an open letter.
Yo, this one's for M, Junior, Bobby, and Tyler, and K-Dot. I'm from the South where niggas jugging and mobbing and stay hot. I'm from a place where all my dreams were always never what they seem. I stayed away from all them niggas cause I'm something they not. Look, I'm an artist, and everybody's got a story. Mine ain't the hardest, and everybody's out for glory. But let's be honest, the only ones who ever really make it are the ones who get a chance and will drop everything to take it. I grew up with hella bullies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't. Yeah, it's not aimed towards anyone, but I did have a little citation, like an outgoing, love to, Eminem. This one's for M, Cole, Joyner, and Bobby and Kate. I was talking to Eminem, Jordan Lucas, Logic, and Kendrick Lamar. Saying like, just telling them where I'm from and kind of things I've had to go through to get to the mentality that I have. And it starts off, with Eminem kind of speaking about mentality in his own way. He's like, at this point in life, I feel like, there's not much that I can't do. I feel like if you really want to do something, then you find a way to make it happen. And like, that's belief. He speaks to belief on that. And I love that. So I chunked it, I put it in there, and I hope not to get a copyright. I put it in there. I was like, I love this friggin' quote from him. Like, this man is, he's talking his shit, So after that, I was just talking about, in the beginning of the song, like, hey, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make my dreams a reality. And nobody, I don't care who you are, I don't give you the damn president, you ain't gonna stop me. At the end of the day, like, that's just how I feel. And whoever wants to come and tag off of my bread, whenever I do make it and you weren't a part of this, you ain't losing sleep for this, you ain't putting the energy into this, like, I don't want to say I've suddenly become friends. Like, no, I'm letting you know where you are, where you stand. And then, like, that's the end of that. And then it moves on to Kendrick Lamar he's talking about change, in the song. He's talking about, sometimes when you really want something to change, you got to look inside yourself and see, I'm wrong in a lot of areas. And, it takes a lot of willpower to admit that you're wrong in a lot of areas and you got to be better. And so I start talking about where I am in life in the next part of the song. And it's like what I'm willing to do to get to the next step, because I notice, parts of me, I'm evolving, not just musically, I'm evolving as a person. I'm evolving in my relationship. With my wife. I'm evolving in my relationship with God. Like, I'm just looking introspectively. I'm like, this is all things I can do better. So when I heard him say that, I was like slapping it in there, like, this is, and I mentioned their names in the beginning. So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna put some quotes from you in there. And towards the end, I just started writing about a little piece that I, had for it. There's an actual separate song called "Made for This." That's the last part of "To Whom This May Concern." That's an actual song, that last part, but I use the same lyrics for this song to speak kind of to the atmosphere that this song is given to the listener. You know what I mean? So I threw it in there. But in that song, it says, so much has changed, and to think that I ain't famous yet. I got a hunch that not long from now, shit, I'll be on some stations. I'm amazed that these pages ain't made paper yet, but it's gonna come as long as I can keep creating. Shit, I'm made for this. I sacrifice pain for this. Wake up every day for this. I cannot create a list of shit that I'll be patient with, but I wait for this. I keep counting blessings because I pray for this. I'm dying to see results, but I feel like I'm on a waiting list. I can't even take a piss without thinking of ways to lift my family out this mud or whatever y'all call this place we in. I'm guessing I hate being a regular sapien who settles for whatever place he's in. And that's just kind of talking to the rest of the song. Like, that's when I started spitting. It's at the, beats switch. It's like,
yeah,
this is background. Now I'm gonna give you story. Like,
yeah. No, yeah, dude. That one, like I said, that one really caught me in that way that you did it, dude. And it's like, it flows so naturally. That's the biggest thing about that I noticed about it. Is like, it flows so naturally with like the way that you were intermelding. Like I said, I remember with the intro how you were saying when talking with the Eminem quote with the little snippet of his interview, and then I was trying to figure out who the last person was when I'm like, I've heard this before, but I can't match it. But no, dude, you're right, because all of them in a certain sense, in a certain way, have done their own what do you call it, to whom this may concern, like in their own way and in their own manner. So to really be touching on them specifically and have them be part of the initial basis of like that first hook and the first verses, it's just like, hey, look at all of these underdogs, look at all of these people that were already put down and downridden, that they weren't going to succeed, that they weren't going to make it, and look at where we're at right now. Kendrick is selling out Toronto as of literally this weekend, 2 nights in a row. Eminem is still one of the most highly invited to the cookout white rappers.
Not only that, bro, he has the most longevity and talent in the game. All these new cats coming out like after him. He's still sunning them. He's still like, hey, I fuck with you. I love what you do, but you still right here. Like you,
yeah.
Like, he's so modest and chill about it. But like his art speaks for itself. He has a spot. He has a spot. You know, you're gonna have to wait till after he died for that spot to be gone. Like
exactly,
he's that guy.
Dude. Exactly. And then same thing with Logic, dude. It's like that's that other level of like versatility. And he's a fucking Swiss Army knife, dude. He's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to like the type of rapper that he really is, dude. Like personally, I can say whatever I can like out of their styles and how it is. But when it comes to like analyzing like how their entire production style, their lyricism, and like the way that their flow is, dude, he can't be denied. So people saying is like, hey, like Logic's like, no, dude, you don't understand. Yeah. It's not that surface level. You have to go underground.
Art.
Exactly.
This is art. At the end of the day, this is art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And ain't no wrong way to do it. So I'm gonna do it however the hell I want, but I'm gonna do it different. And that's Logic. I love it.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So like I said, those are the 3 main ones that popped out of me with that one. And like I said, that beat switch, I'm like, dude, there it is, man. It's like, who's over here talking about like you can't be original with a beat switch? It's like, no, that's how you make it good with that beat switch up. Mm-hmm. So dang, dude. Now touching with these last ones closing off 2017 and 2017 part 2, you touched a little bit of it on Feeling It Sober, and then you can tell the full story if you want, or you can just touch on bases and bits and pieces of the story itself. But those ones are the ones that have a higher, I guess they carry a lot of more emotional weight in the sense that you wrote them. So you wrote them about your dad, your stepdad, the whole tragic, and then you explain to it in the songs themselves that it was literally a violence, what do you call it, one of those and just a violent situation, and then they're trying to kind of link it up together to be gang violence, but it's like that's not what it was. Like so you can put it out however you want, dude, but touching on those, what happened, I guess, is what where does the story start with that?
I woke up, that was back in 2017. I grew up, I'm still wishing that it was a dream. Cause you can always leave a dream, but if you never go to sleep, you start to realize pretty soon this life ain't ever what it seemed. I woke up in my bed in 2017, like any other normal day when I was just a teen. Talking shit to my big brother, now we fighting, get to tussling. We upstairs, heavy rumbling, cause we live in an apartment, Then back to the front door, cause we heard a knocking. My brother asked, who is it? We ain't hear nobody talking, so we cracked the front door. Peeped and saw a nigga with a Glock, waving it in his hand. Then I heard him start to talk.
Yeah, so 2017, just recently 17 years old, right? And me and my brother, I got a big brother, I got a little sister. My big brother, he was playing football. My little sister, she's special needs. She's the sweetest kid ever, you know. So me and my brother, I get up one morning and I'm meddling him. You know how little brothers be sometimes. Like, it'd just be fun. I can't explain it. But I started bothering him, and then he got real mad. And so he started throwing hands, and I started throwing hands. And we were making a lot of noise, right? And we lived upstairs in the 2nd floor apartment. And my little sister, she's nonverbal. So she can't speak. So she just makes a lot of noise to communicate, you know, and get your attention and stuff. And so there was a lot going on in the apartment that morning, right? And we had got a knock. There was a guy who knocked at the door, who was a visitor downstairs. He wasn't even supposed to be in the apartment complex. He wasn't allowed. Type of deal, right? Mm-hmm. So he comes up there, knocks on the door. My brother answers the door. He's got the chain on the door. And there's a dude, you know, I'm not gonna say any names. It's already out there. You know, who knows knows. Who knows is supposed to know. Mm-hmm. And, this dude answered the door and he was like, "Hey, y'all need to keep it down. I got a baby trying to sleep. I'm about that life, whoop de whoop." All the while, he's got a fucking pistol in his right hand, waving it below the waist. So my brother, he saw that. He slammed the door in his face and he locked that bit back. So after that, we called my mom and pops and they pulled up in like, I don't know how or where they were. They pulled up in less than 5 minutes. So they got there and basically my mom, she was like trying to figure out what was going on. She listened to what we said and then went downstairs. Like she was actually, before she even went downstairs, she was standing at the top. Old dude was standing outside. And she was like, basically just getting on his ass. She was like, "Yo, I'm certified crazy by the state. I take this many type of medications. I'll shoot your ass and get out of that house in 2 weeks. Like, you don't threaten nobody kids with a weapon. I already called the cops. You need to get the fuck on." So like that's what she told him. He got to step in. He got to step and he left. And so he was just apologizing a bunch. But like my mom, she went into mama bear mode and like she handled the situation, I guess, as best as she could. Pops got there. He heard what happened before he even got there. So he immediately went to the lady's house downstairs, freaking beat on the door with his foot, boom, boom, boom. And she opened the door. And then my pops was like, "Yo, if something happened to my kids, I'm busting his ass and I'm busting your ass." And she started crying. He slammed her own door in her face. And that's how that went. And so I was just like, yo, like he's gone. Like, you don't need to do nothing stupid. And he starts walking towards the Mustang. And I'm pretty sure he's going to confront this dude and, if needed, throw hands, right? And he goes towards the Mustang. And I'm talking to my brother, like, "Yo, we can't let him go by himself. We're going to go follow him. We're going to go with him." And then my cousin Malik is with us as well. He's like, "All right, I'm coming. Give me a minute." And he grabs his shoes, puts them on, he goes with us. We all hop in the Mustang convertible. And then he's like, "Y'all know where he went?" I was like, "No." And my big brother, he was like, he probably went to like the park. And so we went to the park. We drove to the park. And then there's these big brick buildings at the park. And we're riding around, don't see him. And he's like, "Y'all see him?" And then my brother, again, he answers, he's like, "No, but he's probably in one of these restrooms." And so my dad starts walking over to the restroom. And lo and behold, the guy's chilling with his foot on the wall, smoking a cigarette outside the restroom. Right? So they start having words. And then dude swung. My dad ducked it, fucking gave him a toothpiece. Bow, bow. Dude stumbled and hit the ground. And then he just started going to work on him. Picked him up by his hair. He was going to tell my brother to get out and get his lick on him. And we was going to bounce. And that's how that was going to go. I'm still in the car with Malik next to me. My cousin's name is Malik. We got the same name. And we sit in the back seat. And then before my big brother could even get out of the car, this other dude comes out of the restroom and just starts busting at the car. Like, just shooting at the car. There's, glass flying everywhere. Sounds like fireworks are going off. And I'm just like, bro, like, I'm in panic mode. Everything is going slow, though. So I'm trying to get the seat unstuck. It's not moving. Bullets are whizzing past my head. I can hear it happening. And hitting the metal on the car, busting the glass out. And the seat don't move. So out of just survival instinct, we jump through the middle of the center console and just dip towards the baseball field. And after that, after burning out for 30 seconds, we hop the fence, and then we look back, we don't see nothing. It's me and Malik looking at each other. So we run back because I don't see my big brother. And so we go over there, and there my pops was on the ground, struggling to breathe, and I'm trying to get him to respond, stuff like that. And he's just not. He's dying. So next, my friend Sam drives over from the basketball court that's nearby. He's like, "Yo, what happened?" And I'm like, "Yo, call an ambulance." And we're not trying to scream at him, but we're screaming at him. We're like, "Yo, call an ambulance, call a fucking ambulance." And my brother comes from around the building, and he has blood on his shirt, but like he looks fine. Like, so my brother sees what I see, and he just goes fucking ballistic, and just he can't find anything to hit. The car's next to him. He just dings the hood, and I'm like, "Bro, get mom, go get mom." Like, so he gets in the Mustang. He drives around the corner to go get mom, and 911 like on the way to the park. And there's so much going on through my head that I just start chasing after the dude, and Malik grabs me. I stop him from grabbing me. I get him off of me, and I'm just angry, so I want to throw hands. He's like, bro, it's all good. He just hugs me. He's like, "It's all good, bro. Sorry." And like, I can't even remember most of what happened that day because I trauma blocked a lot of it, unfortunately. But like, I forget my brother leaves and I go beeline towards the apartment and hop a barbed wire fence and cut my hands open. And that's what happens. And so I get there, get to the apartment. You know, my little cousins are screaming, Leonard got shot, Leonard got shot. That's my big brother's name. And my stomach just hits my ass immediately. And I sprint back the direction I just came from towards the park because he's no longer there. My mom is no longer there. So I'm guessing they picked her up. And we get there. By the time I get back, there's crime tape and there's a whole crowd of EMTs and, cops, medics, things like that. And my brother's sitting on the back of the ambulance with a fucking hole in his chest, 2 of them. So he had actually gotten shot. But it was a entry and exit. He turned sideways, he said, whenever they started shooting. So it went in one side and out the side. And he's kind of big because he used to play football. So his pecs were out there. So it literally skimmed through, his pectoral. And I ended up spending from like 4 afternoon to 11 at night at that crime scene, sitting in the back of a police car. Like, and so did Malik, so did my big brother. Well, they took him to to the hospital, but so did Malik. We all sat there until like 11 at night. Then they took us to a precinct and then got like our statements and whatnot. And after that, everything changed. Like 2 of us got followed at least once home by people, whoever it was, I don't know, probably someone who had something to do with the murder because we were witnesses, right? And I ended up going to alternative school. Someone opened their mouth about something they weren't supposed to. And just a lot of things changed. And then 2017 part 2, I'm gonna just skip over because a lot of stuff happened after that. Like while we were at the crime scene, people were raiding the house, calling dibs on shit while we were sitting here in distress at the crime scene. But outside of that, I go to part 2, right?
Damn, I keep having this dream. I really died when we got shot at back in 17. My name on television. My brother lives in Carlton walks and my face on screens. My mother sees, drops to her knees and starts to scream. I try to comfort her. She looks up but just walks through me. And I'm just here thinking, damn it, how can this be? There's just so many things that I haven't got to see. I'm not ready to leave. Brother praying for me. Then flagged up, blue bandana as he asked for answers. Lord, just give me a reason behind taking Malik in. Leaving my mother weeping, leaving the whole Taylor family chambers and Griffin's grieving. And I'll be humble and refrain from leaving niggas leaking. Pulling up where they sleeping, pulling a Uzi and letting that shit just get to preaching. Trigger squeezing, bullets whizzing through trees and leaves and hitting walls and car alarms start buzzing, beeping.
I'm already in the Navy, I'm on my 2nd deployment, and I have a dream. And that day plays back perfect, clearest day, except the only thing that changed is I'm on the news. And my mom is crying, so I go to comfort her, and she looks up at me, and then she just walks straight through me like I wasn't even there. So like in my dream, I guess I'm dead. So I go and I'm like looking at perspectives of Malik, my cousin that was there that day, and I'm looking at the perspective of my brother, and I'm watching him, get flagged up and get ready to go blow this guy down. Like that's like in my mind happening in the dream. And I woke up, but I just narrated the rest of that song to follow the events of what I seen in my dream and made it I finished the story of what I seen in my head. So I had actually died. Carlton survived. My brother survived as well. He didn't get shot, nothing, and he was going to retaliate. It's this dream. So I guess at that point I realized like, yo, this is still very much a part of trauma. And like, I have PTSD, I guess, So I ended up writing that part 2 while I was on the boat, and then I got back. I also produced from scratch 2017, like everything, the first one. And then the second one, I got the beat from Angelo Imani. Great producer, insane producer. And because it just fit the narrative. I just got curious. I was scrolling on YouTube, and I found it, and I started spitting to it, and I was like, yeah, this is it. So I ended up making 2017 part 2. So 2017 part 1 is the story of events that unfolded on the physical day back in 2017. And 2017 part 2 is just the story of the PTSD that, I carry with me since after. So it's 2 separate stories. One is a hypothetical that happened in my brain in my sleep, and the other one happened in front of my eyes. And that's the story of 2017 in part 2.
Yeah, man, those 2, that's one thing that I was kind of like, it kind of confused me a little bit when I started listening to part 2, but I'm like, wait, this makes a little bit more sense after, like you said, you literally wake up and there's a line in there that says, hey, when I'm coming up out of the dream, and then I realized that had already happened, like, and I'm here. So it's like, yeah, dude, but like that will definitely make a big difference, especially in your life, especially at that young of age, and then seeing something so dramatic, and kind of like the most ridiculous part about it is like, and like I said, no offense to how I'm about to say this, but over something so minute, so ridiculously, like, easily.
It was stupid.
Exactly. It was one of those incidents where it's just like, you kind of think is like, and then in reality it's like, it's not even a race thing. It's a human nature reaction situation where it's like, hey, how the hell do you have the what do you call it, the audacity to go pull a gun on somebody like that, man? It's like, that's not even, like, forget the fact, like, these are kids or anything. It was like over a noise complaint. Like over a noise complaint, man. It's like, and look what ends up happening. And that's the thing that just kind of touched me a little bit more with 2017 when I heard it, was just like, yo, this is a really, like, this is the full on tragic retelling of a very, very hard lived event. And then part two is just like, yo, man, me personally asking you dudes, like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Do you feel well?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I actually a lot of the things that have happened, like that, more than just that has happened, but I've made songs about, these things because they've been, very, I'll say, instrumental in me hyper maturing and becoming hyper vigilant and, emotionally and intellectually aware of things that, like feeling people, and my empathy and my ability to, just talk to people, want to be close to people, build connections with people. So I feel like, as tragic and shitty as the things that I've been through have been, I feel like they've all played a major part in sculpting the character that I have. And, this is going to sound really fucked up. Like, I wish none of this on anyone, but I'm thankful that everything I've been through has shaped me into the person that I am. And things are the way they're supposed to be, and I wouldn't take it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a life with the thing about that is like, is how I can say it is like living a life with regret, right? It's, do we regret the situation that happened? Like 100%.
Absolutely.
Do you regret the whole leading events? Like, of course. But you can't regret you can't live in that continuous regret. It's an acceptance, and it's a moving on with whatever's happening and with whatever happened. But yeah, man, those two songs are really, they hit a hard, and they have a really hard touching point to them. And I think that listening to them again will kind of outline a lot of that extra stuff, and then you do kind of see it in the rest of your other songs and the rest of your repertoire, where it's just like, hey, there's a specific progression to the way that you write in your lyricism, but and it touches back on that emotional touching of those two songs. Yeah, that's what it is. There's a drive into that, and then there's a pull from that those two specific songs, but not just because it's the events that happen. It's like, hey, these are things that happen that inspire us to do certain things, and we have to speak about them as a mentor, as what we call it, as a form of meditation, and as a form of, what do you call it, internal therapy.
Yeah, healing.
Yeah, and you're right, healing is the biggest thing, and that's what I feel like. Personally, I feel that's how it touches on those two songs, the healing of your personal self in the growth of Tr1logy, of the events of the person that's become now, the man that you are currently as an artist, dude. Yeah, man, those are the songs that are just like, they hit. So with that, then we're closing in on about, well, just a little bit over an hour doing the interview. You definitely have more projects to come. I know for sure you're gonna have collaborations, but what's the most soonest project that you have ready for release within, I guess, I don't want to say within the year, or if you have anything sooner?
Actually, I'm putting together a list that's going to come out, an album in September. But I'd say at the top of that list is going to be an interlude I'm working on right now. But out of songs that are complete, I'm going to have to say Insanity. There's a song called Insanity. And it just kind of, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. It's going to be a really good project. But it's a song called Insanity, and it's going to be like seeing a movie in your head, but one that's in 5D because you can feel it.
Gotcha. No, yeah, dude. Well, it sounds like you got the big projects coming in, man. I was like, personally, I look forward to seeing them, man, and then maybe bringing you back on a later episode to be able to like do a touch analysis on a couple of the tracks and get a little bit of a point to point on those, dude.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yes.
yeah, dude. Well, I think this is a pretty good point to close it off, man. But so for the listeners or for anybody who stumbles up onto this episode, like, where can we find you? Where can we listen to you? And like, what's the best way to be able to support you?
Well, I'm on all platforms to include, Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. YouTube is my main platform. You can look me up at Tr1logy on YouTube, Tr1logy. And that's where I do most of my ad campaigning and, shorts and stuff like that. But I'm on Instagram. I'm active. I'll post shorts and, posts on Instagram. And you can give me a follow at Tr1logy_the_rapper on Instagram. And just give me a subscribe. Come hear something. Show me some love. And I guess that's all I could ask.
Yeah, man. Nah, dude, no worries, man. Well, I'll go ahead and we'll get this thing closed off, dude. Thanks, man. Thank you for accepting the invitation. It's been a little bit of a road trying to get us together with everything that's going on in life, man, because life gets in the way, dude. So
hey, life got hands. Life be life, and dog.
Dude, I feel it every day, dude. Just wait, man. I feel it every day, dude. But no, dude. But again, dude, thanks, dude. Thank you for coming on to Sound Bits, man. Another episode of this to be able to get you a little bit more exposure and get the word out. But we'll go ahead. We'll close it off, dude. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your day.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Every reason from my soul to my feet, every thought in my head from the start till I'm dead. Ain't no way I'll just forget all the words I never said. Yo, so this is how I feel. I ain't got no filter. I just gotta keep it real, though you no longer be with us. Man, my cup is overfilled with an ocean of my feelings, so I'll stay away from pills. I just pray someday you hear this. Listen, Tr1logy. I ain't never died.